What is up, you guys? Welcome to another episode of Forensics Friday. Guys, I am super pumped. I'm excited. I'm not going to actually show you guys some techniques you can do at home that CSIs actually do at crime scenes. I think it's going to be really cool. I think you guys are going to have a great time. I do want to take a moment real quick to let everybody know that all previous episodes of Forensics Friday are on my YouTube channel. Currently, I don't have a custom URL, but if you search Ugly Rugger or Forensics Friday in YouTube, you can find my channel, subscribe, and you can get access to all of the episodes that we have done. I think we're on episode 6 right now. This is actually a part 2 of our session on fingerprints, so it's pretty cool. So first off, for those of you who might be new, welcome to our front lab. This is our lab that looks like the set of CSI and all that good stuff. Kind of to welcome everybody, give everybody that sense of like, ooh, this is cool, you know, like the show used to do. But I will tell you this, real science doesn't happen in a lab that looks like this. Science looks like the lab I'm going to take you guys to, and we're going to actually do this thing today. But first off, guys, thank you so much for being here. It really does mean a lot. I get excited for these because I have a degree in forensic science. I taught this class at a high school as well for 3 years. I'm currently teaching 6th grade science, so it's good to go back to my roots and to my area of expertise within science. And so if you guys have questions tonight, please feel free, put them in chat. I will answer them to the best of my ability. The only thing I ask is that we try to keep it somewhat on topic. But if you have a good question or something like that, I may pause and answer that question, even though it might be a little bit off topic. But yeah, guys, so let's do it. Let's before we go to the lab, though, we got to do one thing, okay? A good forensic scientist and a CSI always protects their evidence and keeps contamination down to a minimum. So what we have to do is put on our gloves. That's right, guys. Number one thing is always, always, always put a glove on it. Works on so many levels, doesn't it? All right, got one. We're gonna have, oops, so get my thumb in the right place. It's always the hardest thing about these gloves, is getting your fingers in there just right. And there it goes. And the final test, there we go. Alright guys, so let's actually go back. Let me take you to the real forensics lab and let's get started. Alright guys, so a real laboratory, okay, for any kind of science is going to look a little bit more like what you see here. Very well lit, sometimes windows, sometimes not, and lots of equipment and tables and things to do stuff with. So don't let TV fool you, okay? But we're going to start off today with a quick recap of some basics. Excuse me. So what I mean by that is we are going to be hitting up kind of the basics of developing fingerprints. We hit this last time, which was about 2 weeks ago, since I had that trip to Chicago, so I was on the road on Friday. However, we're gonna kind of hit some basics because I'm gonna actually show you a lot of this stuff today, or at least some of it. Thinking of forensic science as a job, well, A1FA, I can definitely give you resources for that as we kind of talk through this. So if you have questions, dude, put them in chat. I'm here to answer y'all's questions. This is as much of a question and answer as is for me to just kind of talk about these topics. So before I do anything, though, we do have to kind of set up our lab a little bit because, you know, you can't see anything right now. So let me hit the button. Let me pull down our projector screen real quick. There we go. All right, now let's turn on the projector itself. So that's this button over here. There it is. There we go. Good deal, y'all. All right, guys. So to start us off, we're just doing a recap, a basic recap of developing what's called latent fingerprints, okay? Because I'm going to actually show you guys how to develop fingerprints that are invisible. That's what latent means, with regular household type items, okay? My professor used to call it forensic Hobby Lobby. You can actually do a lot of stuff based on things you can get at your local store that is just as good, if not sometimes even better, than what the actual CSIs do. So we're gonna go ahead and hop into it, but we're gonna try to go through this as quick as we can because I want to get to actually showing y'all some stuff today, and should be pretty cool. All right, so copyrights, all that good stuff. Hey, what's up? The Air Curry 30, nice, love the name, dude. Welcome to the stream. How are you tonight? We're doing some Forensics Friday today, y'all. We're learning a little bit about fingerprints, and I'm going to show you some stuff too. Thank you also for that follow. Welcome to the Rugby League, dude. All right, guys. So first off, we got to talk about some types of fingerprint impressions. Oh, much appreciated, my brother. So the first off is called patent prints. Okay, these are prints that are actually visible. Okay, we haven't gotten to the latent prints yet. Okay, these are left on usually like a smooth surface with something like blood or ink. Usually it's a liquid that when it comes into contact with the hands, it then gets transferred to another surface. So like in this particular example, we have blood that was on someone's hands, and when they touched the wall, it left some prints. It was pretty cool. Okay, he's not here, everybody. All right, so this is called a patent print, where you kind of like stamp it onto something. All right. Then our next one is called the plastic print. All right, this is similar to the patent print, but a little bit different. So this is actually left by the indentations from a material. So it could be like your fingerprint, or it could even be like a ring or anything else that can kind of leave a indentation or a pattern on something. But we usually leave it in a soft surface. Okay, the patent print was left on a hard, usually smooth surface because we had something on our hands. This time we don't have anything on our hands, but we touch something that is soft enough or has properties like putty or clay that can actually leave behind some of the definitions. Okay, so like in this example, we have this impression, this plastic print of some type of object. We also have over here somebody's fingerprint in clay or putty or whatever. Someone calls you ugly, you come back and say, "Excuse me, I am not a mirror." There you go. That's a good one, Lee. That's a good quote. I forgot that one was even in there. But Lee, how are you tonight, dude? Welcome to the stream. It's good to see you again for a second day in a row, my brother. Okay, so guys, those two kind of prints we're not going to be hitting on today. Kind of. We're going to be doing some some here, let me go back. Some patent prints here in just a minute. I'm going to show you how to actually roll your real fingerprints. And there's a particular way you have to do it. So that's going to be pretty cool, I think. I'm going to have fun with that. But then the other one we're going to focus on is called latent prints. Ah, well, thanks, Lee. It's always a good day to see you, my friend. So, latent prints, these are invisible. They're hidden to the naked eye. We can't see them very easily. We have to do something, whether it be using powders or chemicals, and we have to make these prints show up, okay? But the way we make this happen is based on what is inside of a fingerprint. For instance, we have things like the oils, the dirt, the proteins, the water, the sweat that can be in part of a fingerprint. So there's a lot of things that we can try to make reactions with. If dusting, which is the one we all know about from CSI and all those kind of shows, like it's gonna be, we gotta have other ways just in case if that doesn't work, especially for something like a piece of paper. Okay, you can get fingerprints from a piece of paper, which is really stinking cool. Give me just a second, ladies and gentlemen. There we go. But you can't use your powders. Okay, powders don't really work that well. So now, unfortunately, I don't have the chemicals to do that. What does secretions mean? Bigfoot, secretions are things that your body or anything can kind of like ooze out. So when you sweat, okay, you're outside, you run real fast, playing sports like basketball, football, whatever, okay, you're gonna start sweating. That is a secretion. Your body is removing that and sending it outside of the body. It's now it was on the inside, now it's on the outside. There can be many different types of secretions. In this particular case with fingerprints, we're talking oil and sweat mainly. Those are the big two that go with fingerprints. All right, let us keep moving right along, guys. Like I said, this is just an overview from last week, so we want to make sure that we just kind of have a baseline before I show you this stuff, which is why I've got a whole bunch of stuff here on the stream desk. All right, so powders, okay? Usually they are applied very, very lightly and in small amounts. These powders, it doesn't take a whole lot, and they're usually non-absorbent surfaces is what you use them on. So things like plastic, wood, that kind of stuff. All right, A1FA. We'll see you back in a little bit. I'm just going to call you A1. I think that's going to be a lot easier to say in the middle of things. So anyway, we want to use powders on like door handles, car windows, a broken piece of glass in like the window of your bedroom, your desk, your Xbox controller, your PC keyboard, all that stuff. That's what we want to use powders on. And what they do is that they will adhere to the sweat residue, okay, the oils, and then the water. So the powder is going to stick to those. All right. Now I do have a question for you guys, and I want to see what you guys think. Which do you think is going to last longer in the fingerprint, the oil or the sweat? I want to see what you guys think. So anybody got a guess for me? It's okay. Oil from High Fixer. What's up, High Fixer? Anybody else got some ideas? Welcome to the stream, dude. The sweat? Okay. All right. Now, here's the thing. Our sweat, when we talk about sweat, we're going to talk about the water component, okay, everybody? So I don't want you guys to get too confused because sweat is actually a combination of oil, water, and salt, so it's kind of crazy. And but regardless, okay, usually the oils left behind are going to last a lot longer, okay? The water component can evaporate, but the oil is less likely to evaporate over time, which is important for investigators trying to take prints, even when it's been days, maybe even months after something has happened. But really, to be honest, any of that stuff really does help. But guys, Maker, what's up, my man? Welcome to the stream, as well as Lord High Fixer. Good to see you guys. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Glad you're here. If you have questions as we go, let me know. Happy Killa 360 in the house. Thank you for that follow. Welcome to the Rugby League. All right, guys. We're just doing a recap, those who just joined us, from last week's episode 5 of Forensics, Forensic Friday, excuse me, if I could talk. Come on, Rugger, use your words. So we're doing an overview of developing prints before I actually show you guys some techniques. Oh, yeah, much definitely, High Fixer. They are definitely more complex, and they take longer to break down. Plus, they like the higher boiling points. Their aversion to water, for instance, oil and water don't mix, so there's not going to be anything to wash. It's going to be harder to kind of like wash away and clean away. So that's pretty. That's a great point you just made. Yes, Maker, I'm glad you're here as well. So let's keep moving, everybody. So fingerprint powders, okay, we want to use it on non-absorbent surfaces. We only need a little bit to make them work. And pigtails. Dude, no, you're talking. I think you're talking NCIS. Abby. Oh my gosh, I've had a crush on Abby. When I found out she was like 40-something years old when I was in high school when that show came out, I was like, I don't care. I don't care. If she asked me to marry her, I'd be like, done. Done. Friday's going good. Happy Killer. How was your Friday? My Friday has been busy, but I get to be here with you guys. We get to talk my favorite science topic, which is forensics. So I'm having a great day. How is everybody else's Friday going? That middle one is Cheeto Dust. It could definitely be. You don't watch TV? Yeah, I knew exactly who you meant. Yeah, she was like thebomb.com. All right, guys. So talking about fingerprint powders, we have lots of different types that we can use. So we have gray and black, magnetic powder, fluorescent powders. We use these in different situations. So gray is going to be used when we're on a dark surface. Black when we're on a much lighter surface. The magnetic powder helps really nice because you can use a magnetic, basically a nail inside of a plastic tube. That nail sticks to the bottom. Collect your powder up, brush it on real lightly, and when you're done, you lift the nail where it's no longer protruding out of the bottom of your plastic tube, and then all the powder falls off, so you don't get to waste so much. Looks like a boot sole. A little bit, doesn't it? That's pretty cool. What's up, Pyro? Welcome, my dude. Your Saturday started great. Nicely. Well, this is CSI Saturday for you then. Even though it's Forensics Friday over here in Texas. So the magnetic powder is a lot of fun to play with because you put it in there. Anything magnetic will stick to it. If there's any way you can break the magnetic field, it'll just fall back into your container. So it's usually a lot easier to kind of not waste a lot. So that's kind of a big plus to that. Makes you uncomfortable. Ooh. Well, we're in the forensics lab. We gotta keep from contamination. Now they are gonna come off a little bit later for our demonstration, so don't worry. They won't be gone there for long. Now the last one is what you guys were kind of talking about. The orange photo. That is actually a bright orange fluorescent powder. I used to have this kind of powder in my forensics lab when I taught it, and it's a lot of fun to mess with. It makes things glow. So if you use black light in a scene, it can help you differentiate and see the prints much clearer. But you really only want to use these on certain surfaces, like very dark or like white. If you start getting on like colored surfaces, it gets a little harder to see. Now this third photo though does give us an opportunity to see what else we can do. We can definitely use things like those orange goggles. If you've ever watched the show CSI, they use that to filter out certain wavelengths of light. So if you use a fluorescent powder, use a black light, you put those on, okay, you're going to actually see details that you couldn't see with all of that light hitting your eyes. So that's why this one has like a half orange and half like red look to it. Let's see. Oh, it's 5 a.m.? Woo-wee, y'all. That's... Man, I'm glad you're here with us. Yeah, all the way from Finland. I keep forgetting about that. You're at guitar right now? Oh, man, Lee. Well, you stay safe, my brother. I know you guys are doing all right so far, but, man, I want to keep seeing you back in stream, my dude. All right, you guys. So that kind of goes over fingerprint powders, and I'm going to show you an alternative, something you can do at home. I'm excited. I'm pumped. So we're going to go through these next ones a lot faster because I don't have this to show you guys. It's top 10, Lee, and I believe the top 10... yeah, you gotta hit top and the number 10. So ninhydrin. Ninhydrin is a chemical and it reacts with the amino acids, the proteins that are in your sweat, because your skin has a lot of that kind of stuff. So you gotta kind of realize that there's other stuff other than what we talked about earlier in your prints. So it's kind of like iodine, but it's not. Iodine will turn purple in the presence of certain chemicals. This kind of turns this purplish blue. And it doesn't have to be very strong, but you can spray this on paper, and it can actually make a lot of the prints appear. However, you got to be real careful not to over soak your paper. If you soak it, it's gonna really be rough, and your print is gonna look very smudged, and you're not gonna get any details, and then you're not gonna be able to use it in doing an identification. Holy cow! What is that? Let's see. We've got it's all done by hours. Yeah, users by time. I'm going to have to look into that, you guys, and see if I can adjust that to do it by currency or something. So let me write that down. Stream notes. And I brought my fancy pen. Check that out, you guys. Looking good. Fancy, fancy. All right. Top 10 command. All right. We will get on that as soon as I get a chance. I know. Pretty Rugger is kind of cheating. But that's okay. She wouldn't win anything if we were doing a contest. It's not fancy. That's a $26 pen there, my friend. The outside's not fancy. Too much looking, but it's all aircraft aluminum cross, so you're kind of paying for the brand. But anyway, it writes really good. And it's got archival ink, so it's not one of those that's going to fade in heat and stuff like that. It's pretty cool. $26 wasted. I don't know. It's lasted an entire year at a school, and it's not like I have kept up with it and I've not let anybody take it. Hope you have the receipt. Yeah, I don't know. I love it. I love good pens, y'all. That's one of my guilty pleasures is office supplies and fancy pens, whether it be fountain pens, rollerball, whatever. I love them. I'm a nerd that way. These 2 pins. That's cool. You got 5 in a pack. Well, see, I've got these. I got these little cheapies, but these always walk away on me. Yep, no kid teeth marks, that's for sure. So the rigidized point. Oh man, I wish I had a fountain pen collection. Unfortunately, I don't. I've bought a few, but I don't think I care for them correctly, and that's why I'm having trouble. So back to it, you guys. Need to get a TWSBI. I don't even know what that is, but if you want to share that, guys, we will do this. There's a link to the Discord right there, everybody. If you want to share stuff like nerdy things, like office supplies, video games, Legos, I don't care. We stay in touch outside of the stream there at Discord. We also, if you hit !social, you can get all the other stuff that we have as well. So like YouTube, Twitter, Instagram. Don't ask me why. I guess it's having to split it up into 2 things. I don't know why it's doing twice, but I'll look into that. So anyway, guys, that way we can share some nerdy shit. All right, so now we've got a couple more we want to get through. All right, so I can then show you guys the process. So a physical developer, okay, usually is silver nitrate. Okay, silver nitrate's hard to get a hold of for like the everyday person. You can get it, but it's one of those kind of tougher ones. Oh, it's for everyday use. Oh, very cool, High Fixer. You're gonna have to see if you can send me a link to that. I think that'd be really awesome to check out. So anyway, liquid nitrogen, or sorry, not liquid nitrogen, silver nitrate. Come on, Rugger, get your chemicals right. It's usually the last resort in trying to develop a print, okay? Because when it reacts with the proteins that are in a fingerprint, okay, that comes from your skin and the sweat, it destroys it. It reacts with it and changes it, so it cannot change back. So there's no more testing you can do to develop the print once you've done that. And then the one we always see on CSI is called Cyano Acrylic, okay, super glue. This is where you take a few drops of super glue, you heat it up, the vapor fills up a chamber, and then inside that chamber, okay, that glue will stick to the fingerprint pieces, okay, the parts that make it up, whether it be dirt, sweat, oil, amino acids, whatever. It'll stick and it will then dry, and then you can dust it, use the powder, and then lift it on a clear piece of tape, and then you've now got a fingerprint saved. And this is great on things like weapons. Okay, weapons use, like especially guns, have gun oil on them. So fingerprints are hard to get off of guns because the oils in your fingerprint and the oils in the gun will actually dissolve into each other. Okay, whereas the water and oil we know doesn't mix. So that's why guns, we don't actually get as many fingerprints on them as you might think. Now, if there's a wood handle grip or something like that that's not usually covered in oil, we have a higher chance of finding a print. But we still print them anyway because it's easier to print it and not find anything than to assume that there's nothing on it and then there's, and miss out on a perfectly good piece of evidence. What's really cool is that the Japanese started doing the super glue process back in 1982. A lot of our procedures have only been developed in the last like 30 to 40 years, maybe 50, especially things like DNA. DNA was first used in 1985 in a case, so it's really not that old. It's only 3 years older than I am. Creating rust, yeah, eventually on the gun, it can do that. A fingerprint can do that. You'll only find cop fingerprints on it. Pyro, that's kind of true. Use that piece like they do in the movies. Oh, actually, yes, Maker, you can. And Mythbusters did a whole episode on this, and they prove that you can lift a fingerprint, develop it, and use it on a biometric scanner. It does take some work. You gotta know what you're doing, but it is definitely possible. This is why a lot of biometrics locks and things like that, they'll use a combination of. So fingerprints along with retinal scan or voice print, or maybe now with the new phones, you got the face recognition software. So there's usually, in the high security areas, there's more than one. That way it can't be duped very easily by somebody who kind of knows what they're doing and is trying to steal secrets. All right. Moving right along, everybody, guys. This is going well. All right. We mentioned iodine before. Okay, the dihydrin works kind of like iodine, but we actually can use iodine. And I used to have one of these tubes. I have no idea what happened to them, but you had to be very, very careful. Okay, so if you look in the picture, and if you can see my laser pointer, this tube right here, this was the part that you wanted to put near the object you were wanting to get your fingerprint on. This in here had an iodine crystal. All right, you'd have to kind of break the vial on the inside to release the fumes and the chemical into the actual tubing here. And then you remove the cap on the end, and you would blow straight through so that the iodine in your breath would travel through this tube and would then deposit the iodine fumes onto your surface. Okay, usually we wanted to use this on like porous things. You can use it on just about anything and you might get a print, but that vapor is going to adhere to the oils and it makes this like brownish color. Now the thing with this though is that those iodine crystals, if you inhale it, is highly toxic and can really, really hurt you. So if someone was trained to do it with these particular tools, you have to make sure that you don't breathe in, that you breathe out through it, kind of like blowing bubbles into your milk. So I could theoretically rob someone with those locks by stealing their prints off the buttons and figure the combinations. Potentially, Maker. Fingerprint sensor things are super finicky. They can be finicky, High Fixer. A lot of them, though, I mean, can be very, very sensitive. For instance, to become a teacher, I had to have all my prints sent to the FBI. It's just part of the procedure here in my state. From there, you know, we just used an electronic reader, but that thing was so precise. I mean, it was absolutely mind-blowing. Then when I got my concealed handgun license, okay, I don't have it anymore. I let it lapse because I didn't want to pay the extra money. But to allow me to carry a handgun hidden on my body in public, I too had to send my fingerprints to the FBI. And so I've got my prints in the system twice. So they definitely have mine on file. Quick release safety hates your finger. Are you talking about like on the holster? Like the quick release on the outside of the holster? Because those can be tough. I've talked to many a police officer about that, and those can be really tough. Okay, High Fixer. Hey, that's, if you want to tell, you tell. Yeah. Just do oh, I lost something. Just do open carry, get a holster, and you're good. Well, in Texas we can do that, but you can't. But everybody's put up the sign. We have two signs now. We have one that's called a 30-06, so 30.06, because it kind of matched the caliber 30-06. That sign meant that you could not conceal carry inside of a building. Now we have one called 30-07 that prevents you from open carrying, and pretty much every business across the board has those signs up. So open carry isn't quite an easy thing either. Yes, that's right. That's right, A1. I forgot, because I haven't watched the original. Now, if you are talking about the second one, which I got to see last Friday, which was freaking awesome, no spoilers, okay? Let's not spoil it for those who haven't seen it quite yet. Oh, you're talking about a quick safe. Oh, okay, I got you. I thought you meant a quick safety. Gotcha. Yeah, I have a quick one. The battery died, so it's not reading my finger very well. But it worked well until then, so I'm going to replace the batteries, and then we're good. We are good to go. All right, you guys. Moving straight along. Gentian Violet. I don't have any experience with this particular use, but can call it also Crystal Violet. It's usually what we use in the presence of other chemicals like tape. You might have seen on an episode of CSI that they kind of like washed with like a blackish kind of chemical and got a print on the backside of tape or something like that. But it does a good job of developing prints that are stuck in the adhesive of something. Oh yeah, they are both really good. I love Paul Rudd. Paul Rudd, guys, if you have not seen the second Ant-Man and Wasp, you got to go see it, and it's so funny. The dude is hilarious. I love him to death. Oh, did you really? Jump out of planes? Okay. Nice high fixer. That's a badass job right there. Um, I used to have security clearance because President Bush, you guys know that he had his home in Texas in a town called Crawford. I was less than at that time. I lived less than 10 miles from his house, and my family's pest control company. We had the contract to take care of his property. So I have seen things that are probably classified. I don't even know. But I had to go through a security check just so I could go with my dad to help him out because I was still like what 15, 16, 17, I don't know, somewhere in that range. So it was really cool. Nothing super exciting, but it was a cool experience, especially talking to the Secret Service agents because there was one there all the time. Okay, so we're wrapping up with our prints overview, and we're going to get to actually doing stuff. So when you have developed one of these prints, especially the latent ones, the invisible ones, what do you need to do? You need to photograph it. Okay, you can do a lot from a photograph, especially high res. You want to make sure that you preserve it to make sure that in its entirety. Okay, so you don't want to get part of it and then save part of it and then that ruin the rest of it. And then when we had lift the prints to take them, okay, now all I've got here with me is this basic old invisible tape. Okay, this works to an extent, but you want really that super clear packing tape. And I forgot to go get some out of the shed in the backyard. And anyway, but we're gonna try to see if we can get this to work and show you guys. You're old? Ah, you can't be that old. But your dad was Secret Service for Ford. That's amazing, dude. I bet you there's some stories there to be told. All right, so we've been kind of hitting to this all the time, all throughout this talk. So what is in a fingerprint? Well, 99 to 99.5% water. The rest are solids, things like amino acids. These are your chemicals, proteins, dirt, salt. Okay, like NaCl is table salt, and then KCl is potassium chloride. That's another byproduct of what happens when you sweat. But we can also have all kinds of other contaminants, whatever is on your hands. So bodily fluids. We can have oils and fats. Sebum. That's what gives you zits. Is sebum. Let's see what else. You could have just regular old dirt. You could have, like I said, blood, saliva, mucus, semen. Just nasty. Your fingerprints are nasty. This is why you gotta wash your hands, you guys. Alright, and then a few things that affect these fingerprints. Okay, one is somebody's age. Okay, the thinner the epidermis, the outer layers of the skin, okay, the more flattening of the fingerprint we're gonna get. Also, the more wrinkles. Okay, so then we don't get to get those ridge structures that we want to see. Fine ridge structure, there's less. So, like talking about. What it's talking about is the lines on your fingertips and on your hand and palm and the bottoms of your feet. Those, if they are very, very small, there's less contact with the surface. And so when you touch it, they're not going to leave too much. Stimuli, okay? If you are not producing any sweat on your hands, or if your hands were just freshly washed with soap, you're less likely to leave a footprint. Or sorry, not footprint, fingerprint. There we go. And then there's some medical conditions and things like stuff like this, like some jobs. Like for instance, I'm a teacher, so I deal with papers all day. So my fingers are being rubbed on all day long in very fine amounts. So my fingerprints can actually get rubbed down to where they have a very, very small ridge on them. Wash my hands, your footprint will disappear? Yes, exactly. Pyro. Oh, I've missed you, dude. You haven't been here in a while. Alright, then some transposal factors. Okay. Surface texture of the surface you're touching. Contaminants on your hand. The contaminants that are already on, like the door or the wall. How did you touch it? How much pressure did you use? So if I like barely touch, okay, that's not going to hardly leave much. But if I slam into it, we're going to leave a lot more behind. Then things like temperature, humidity, and handling. I forget why I have this in here, but kind of like the handling of objects. If multiple people touch something like a doorknob, those things are not going to stay around for, those fingerprints are not going to stay around for very, very long. Okay, so a couple of misconceptions for you guys. You cannot determine the age, sex, or race of someone based on fingerprints. However, there are some statistics that we can kind of go by. So like young adults, the ridges of women are finer than those of men. Okay, this is talking young adults. Fine ridges may be found on very young or very old. Okay, the very young haven't developed all their skin layers the same as a mature adult. And the very old, their skin gets very thin. There's been some weird stuff there, High Fixer. For instance, we used to think that you could identify somebody on if they're going to be a criminal or not based on the lumps of your head. Like how lumpy your head was and where you found thicker spots than others. Okay, it's total BS. However, people did believe in it until it was disproven. We also thought that it's called let me see if I can get the word. Anthropometry. There we go. Where if I measured the length of my wrist to my first knuckle, wrist to the elbow, elbow to the shoulder, all these different body measurements, that would be just as good as a fingerprint. This is before we knew, without a fact, that fingerprints were individual to every person. Like, no one in the world has the same set of fingerprints at all. Even identical twins. The statistics on it repeating over history is extremely small. So it's crazy. Yeah, it's a signature. Yeah, it truly is a signature. Actually, it's even better than a signature, to be honest. So if I was to drag my hands over things, your prints would be all smeared and not usable, right? Pretty much, Pyro. Now, of course, you'd have to make sure that you are constantly smearing. All right? Now, you might leave, like, when I first touch and then start dragging, that outer edge could leave some detail. So, you know, you never know in real life. So as somebody who is kind of like been on the side of where we think about how do we catch criminals or what could possibly be left behind that's not messed up, it can sometimes be hard to miss those. Because, I mean, since I've been putting a lot of thought over this many years, I would hope to maybe find some ridge detail if somebody was to touch something and drag where they first touched up here, like at the top of my fingers. There should be a little bit of ridge detail. Can we really use it? Probably not. But if I can get it, I want it. Okay? Because the more I have, the better I can solve the case. All right. There you go. And let's finish out this one, guys. Manual labor will strengthen the ridges. Okay? Just like if you break a bone, it heals up stronger. The more your skin gets used, develop calluses, thicker skin. So those ridges become tougher. So they don't really... they're not going to be thin. We're going to actually get better prints. And then creases in your skin are very common in women's fingerprints. So like creases, talking about like the creases in your forehead or wrinkles. That's the kind of stuff we're talking about. And I don't know if it talks about it, but let me see if it does. Yep, that's actually the end. Scars. Scars are a huge thing with fingerprints, because if you scar your prints, guess what? You've now made them even easier to identify to you, because it's very hard to duplicate the same scar twice. So yeah. So anyway, guys, that's our quick overview from what we talked about before. It was supposed to be quick. It took us a little bit, but you guys had some great questions. So what I'm going to do is we're going to turn off the projector, okay, or at least the computer screen projector. We're going to do something a little different for once. There we go. Stab your arm with the wrist. Glad I did, as it definitely is now better than your left now. Wow, Pyro. Well, one of my favorite former basketball players for Duke University, J.J. Redick, broke both of his wrists. Before he did that, he couldn't shoot a ball to save his life. After breaking them, he's draining threes left and right and was one of the top picks going into the NBA. Didn't do much when he got there, but he at least had a damn good shot. Right arm was snapped. Holy crap, dude. That is insano. Alright, so here we go, guys. I get to take these off. And what's good is that you sweat inside of these gloves, and that's what we need. Need a little sweat. Okay, so we made our little glove baggie by pulling one off and then pulling the other one off over it. So now, if I was at a crime scene, I'd put this in a bag to save in case there was any contamination. We could track down where the contamination came from. So I've got two things I want to show everybody today. The first of which is going to be how to develop a latent print at home. The second is going to be with this paper right here. Okay, this is called a tin print card. All right, this is very similar. It's kind of a dumbed down version for schools, but what the cops used to use for taking someone's fingerprints. Now, before I do all of that, actually, let me get this to end. There we go. I want to do a quick little check with you guys, and also we have what is called a Google Classroom associated with our episodes here on Forensics Friday. What I do there is I put the extra resources and practice and stuff that I would have used if I was still teaching this in high school for you guys to see and kind of get an extra look at if this is something that interests you. For instance, right now I've got a whole bunch of stuff on fingerprints, some practice sheets, some examples, the PowerPoints that we've gone through, those kind of things. And I've got that for pretty much all the episodes. And I forgot, I did want to bring this up to you guys. So here's a little closer look of the tin print card. So we're going to have like name stuff, aliases, signature of the people, descriptions, where they live, are they right or left-handed, and then the actual boxes for the prints. All right, but what I want to see is, can you identify the style of prints? Now, this comes from last episode, okay? We didn't go over this today, but I want to see if anybody knows what style of print these are. There are three: the arch, the loop, and the whorl. So what I want you guys to do, and I'm going to actually put on a little bit of music for while we do this, okay? And what's going to happen is you're going to see these two things. Make everything a little bit bigger. There we go. And I want you to tell me arch, loop, or whorl for number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 in chat. I'm going to leave this up for a minute as I talk about some other stuff. Did you really, A1? Oh, I love it. You can use it outside of school and just share stuff with people. So Google Classroom, those are your examples right there. Or sorry, that's the instructions on how to get in there. Type in classroom.google.com. There's going to be a plus sign in the upper right-hand corner, and you go back here to chat, you grab the code, you type that in how you see it, and that's going to have you join our thing. Now, you do have to have a Google account, so like a Gmail, but those are so easy to make. So let me do this. Let me actually make this so much bigger, if I can get to it. Because I don't think you guys can even see the details on these prints. You know what? Number 2 is hard to see. Okay. Let me do this then. Aha, there we go. Let's do it this way, guys. So number 1, do we think an arch, loop, or whorl? Okay, I want you guys to type it in chat. Let's see what you go. A1, thank you for doing what we originally thought, but I didn't realize it was so hard for you to see. So number 1 here, arch, loop, or whorl. You guys all tell me. Let's see what we get. I really want to see if you guys are good at this. Okay, Pyro says whorl. A1 says arch. This is an arch, you guys. So if we look right here, okay, we see that the pattern comes in from one direction, goes across. We have a little hill usually in the middle, and then it goes out the other side. That is what's happening here in this picture of number 1. Okay, the pattern goes in, comes up a little bit, and then it goes out the other side. So all the way across. Pyro, well, you'll probably get these next few. Alright, so number 2 should be pretty easy. Arch, loop, or whirl, you guys. A1 thinks whirl. Pyro, you're saying arch. Well, what we are seeing in this particular one, well, actually, let's see if anybody else has a guess. I know Maker was in there. He was lurking, I think, a little bit. A few others, it's early for him. He's probably getting his coffee and breakfast. All right. This is a whirl. Okay, there's 2 ways that you can tell this. This is a classic whirl pattern. So there is a section. Oh, I got you, Maker. I got you, dude. No problem. No worries. I just wanted to give you an opportunity to answer in case you wanted to. So there are these areas. I wonder if I can make this. I don't know if y'all can see my mouse. It's right over here. You can kind of see it moving. See this area that looks like a triangle? That is called a delta. That's what we consider a minutia of a fingerprint, a detail. Okay? There's one on this side. There's also one over here where my mouse is circling. So because we have 2 of those, that's one way to tell that you have a whirl. But the main one on this is that the fact that we have these concentric circle and spiral pattern between the 2 deltas. Outside of the deltas, it comes in, goes over, and goes out. And so that can mislead you. I think, Pyro, that might be what you looked at, was that you saw that they came in, they went over, and they went out the other side. But we want to try to find that central section of the fingerprint. So we go back to this one, the central area, everything comes in from the left and goes out the right. Or if you want to look at it, comes in from the right, goes out the left. So I think that's where I kind of lost some of you guys, in case if I confused you. Okay, so now number 3. Let me zoom out just a hair. This one's a little easier to see. What do you guys think? Arch, loop, or whirl? Oh, have you really, Pyro? I don't know, dude. This is the internet. I can't tell. I just want to make sure that, for one, the fact that we had the guts to describe it again, I bet you there's somebody out there that knows it better now. Okay, I got to vote for a loop and an arch. Anybody else with some more guesses? Anybody else want to throw a guess? Pyro, you want to give your smart-ass answer? He's going to say it's a Sasquatch. That's what kind of print it is. It's a Sasquatch. Or as I call him, Sassafras. If any of you all are Tenacious D fans. A noose. There it is. So this one, guys, is actually a loop. The way we know is we have this one delta kind of right over here. It's kind of hard to see my mouse, I know, so I'm going to keep moving it. I wish I could make that another color. But anyway, there's a delta on the left, but then so that's our triangle shape. Then we have the loop comes in from one side, goes around the center, the core of the print, and then actually exits on the same side. Okay, it comes in, loops around, goes back out. And always the loop is going the opposite. So if this over here is my triangle, it's going to come in, loop around the core, and go out. Close enough, yeah. Hey, that's okay, Maker. That's kind of why we do this, is to kind of give you guys some practice, because without seeing it and looking at it and seeing the details, you're not just going to get it like that. Like, it's so much work to do latent fingerprint work. Like, you're going to use a lot of magnifying glasses. It's not all done by computers. It's a lot of, you got a piece of paper here, you've got your sample from the crime scene here, and you're going back and forth with a magnifying glass and identifying the details. We haven't even talked about minutia yet other than the delta. And that's what we really are looking for. This is just the basics. So fingerprinting is very hard. All right, so number 4. What do you guys think? Okay, we have a vote for Arch. Never noticed the fat on your fingerprints? I always notice the dead skin around my fingernails. Okay. like I have some fingers that are like they seem really fat around, but like if you mess with it, I can actually peel away the dead skin, or like the skin that doesn't have any feeling to it. It's always weird. Okay, so we've got to vote for arch. We've got to vote for a whirl. Okay, now one more time, just want to make sure everybody knows there's going to be 0 deltas in an arch. Okay, unless if it looks like what's called a tinted arch, something that has a very high hill in the inside, kind of like the old school tents that had 2 stakes and you drape the tarp over the top. It'll be kind of like this. That'll look like a delta in the middle, but it's really not. Whirls have 2, and then loops only have 1. Yes, I do. I do bite the dead skin off. I am really bad. I don't take care of my nails like I should. Oh, you do? I got you, Pyro. Yeah, I do the same thing, dude. Alright, so number 4 here. This is another arch. It's coming in from one side, and we look at, kind of follow what's going on in the middle and follow it outward. It starts in the middle, goes down the hill, and goes out 2 different ways. So we actually have an arch here. This is a tinted arch because the center is very tall. So this one is a little bit different than that first one we looked at. All right, and then number 5, here we go. This one should hopefully be pretty easy for you guys. Too bad I can't make this left side pictures any bigger. Okay, we gotta vote for a whirl. Let's see what everybody else thinks. Let's see, Maker, what are you thinking on this one? Pyro, what about you? New glasses, you guys. I'm gonna rub my eyes a little bit. Oh, there we go. Alright, and you two would be correct. This is a whirl. 2 deltas, 1 on the left, 1 on the right, and then we have that concentric circle / spiral in the center. So not bad, you guys. 5 for 5. All right. Yeah, this is a whirl. Now, this is the kind of thing, like, if you weren't getting this one very easily, Pyro, if you could put the class command in chat for me, what that's going to do is that's going to allow for people to go and look at this a little bit closer, and you can look at it at your own pace, too. Everything that I use on the stream that I show you guys is on that Google Classroom. The code is JL. Okay, so if you're hearing impaired, JL 10FA and then 9. Okay, so hopefully that can let you guys go check out some. I put a bunch in there a while back. So let's zoom out. Let's get a whole picture again. So we had number 1 was an arch, number 2 was a whirl, number 3 was a loop, number 4 was an arch, and number 5 was a whirl. Now, the most common print in the world is the loop. Okay, I actually have on my particular hands, I have 9 loops and 1 whirl. Whirls are the least common, or sorry, whirls are the second most common. Arches, it depends on which region, but they usually are the rarest if we look at the whole world. So it's kind of some interesting facts about all that stuff there. Okay, so now that we're done with that, let me actually show you some shit. All right, so this is why we're starting so late tonight. I had to set something up, and here we go. Let me see if I can get it. Let's make it a little bit bigger. There we go. So now you have 2 arches. Very cool. So now y'all can actually see some stuff right here on the stream desk. So let's move the mouse out of the way. And what I want to show you guys first is how you can develop latent prints at home. Okay. So if you guys can't see, let me know and I'll explain it a little bit better. So what I'm going to be doing is I've taken a very, very soft tipped brush. Okay. This is just a paintbrush. Okay. With a very like big bristled fluffy type pattern to it. Okay, the more stiff you don't want. Makeup brushes that women have actually work really, really well for this. What is in here okay, is just plain old baby powder, y'all. Plain old baby powder. Hey, what's up, Powder Toast Man? Crime that was committed and the person involved seemed to have no fingerprint. Turned out the person had worked at a factory that cut and shipped pineapples. Interesting. Very cool. So what that is, Powder Toast Man, is that is actually the acids. Okay, pineapples and lemons and oranges and limes all have they're very acidic. So if you're cutting those and you're getting those juices on there, you're actually kind of slowly eating away at your skin. Okay, so if you work there long enough, then your fingerprints will become what we call a light ridge. Kind of talked about that a little bit earlier before you got here, but that makes it a lot harder for fingerprints to be left behind because the ridges, the stuff that sticks out, the pattern you see, gets very, very thin, and so there's not much to leave behind. My corresponding fingers have the same prints. So, like, what do you mean? All 10 digits have the same? That's kind of cool. But Powder Toast Man, how are you, dude? Welcome to the stream, my friend. Glad you came in with that little tidbit. I'm going to tell you about a guy here in a minute. I don't have the information anymore. I used to have pictures and stuff, and I can't find it. But I'm going to show you guys a story of a guy back in the 50s and what he did. It was pretty freaking rad. Alright, so to demonstrate dusting for prints, what I've got is this is like the back of a controller, like a remote control. It actually goes to my 4th monitor, which is up there, so I can turn it on and off and stuff. Yes, I'm glad you're here too, my dude. Same with the others. Very cool. My index and my other index have the same. Yeah, you will actually find that there's some similarities in the patterns. Definitely, definitely, definitely. Okay, very cool, Maker. Not a problem. So, so we have our paintbrush that has the fluffy bristles. We have our baby powder in a container. We have a surface that's dark, okay? So when we're dusting for fingerprints with baby powder, okay, it has to be on a dark surface for you to see clearly, all right? So when you're doing this, here's the thing. I'm going to dip it once in the powder so you guys can see it is very white on the end. I am going to literally knock as much of this off as I can. Okay, I do not want much powder at all. I'm even going to take the bristles and like fluff them on the outside to get as much off, so there actually won't be much of anything. So like you can't even tell that there's really white on there at all. Pretty crazy. Mortar and pestle, you can do that. What's up, Smurf Murder? Yes, it is forensics time. But a mortar and pestle, you can use that with graphite, like mechanical pencils. The only thing is the mortar and pestle usually grinds it too thin to get it on there, but it does work. Dude, Smurf Murder, well, I'm glad you're here, my dude. Now, before I can use this, okay, I'm going to put it back in, and we'll do it. To get a good print for today, you guys, I got to get a little bit of extra oil on my fingers. I want to make sure that this comes out good, okay, for demonstration purposes. So, all you got to do is usually rub your fingers through your hair, okay? Well, I don't have hair up there, so I'm going to rub it through the beard. Okay? Kind of rub my hands together, kind of even that all out. And then I'm going to take my index finger and I'm going to press it straight down and then pull straight up off of this little piece of controller. Couple of jumping jacks. Yeah, that'll do it, that's for sure. Okay, so we've got a lot of powder on our brush. Knock a lot of that off. And then I'm going to, now the way you would normally do this is a whirling motion. That is with the brushes that we typically have. Well, those bristles tend to flow with the air, and you actually do a spinning motion with it. So it's a little bit of both, a spin and a swirl. This one, I'm just going to very lightly brush back and forth. Okay, let's see what we get. Okay, you can go in many different directions. You can go in a circle if you want to. And the beauty of this right now is that if I don't have enough powder, that's okay. Alright, so when I look at this at an angle, I can see the print. However, I think for you guys to see it, I need some more powder. So I'm going to, okay, put a lot more. And again, I'm barely touching this, okay? Barely touching it at all. If you put too much pressure, you will actually smudge the print. Okay, knock any extra off, and then I'm just going to lightly kind of brush away any extra that's on here. Okay, this takes a lot of practice. A lot of practice. So hopefully you can see that there's a dense whiteness in the middle of this. Smear it. Yep. You should have more powder. Yeah, especially like, you know, on them hot days, just powder your nuts, right? So let's see if I can get this. I got it to work off stream once, but let's see if I can get it to focus. It's working, it's trying, but you now see the density of the powder in the center. Let's see if the camera will actually focus. Give me a second, everybody. I can't see chat because I want to get this right. Come on, you did it earlier. Come on, camera. You can do it. Let's pull it back a little bit. Maybe that'll help. I don't know, you guys. What's up, Tide Prince? How are you? Alright, come on, focus. Focus for me. You did it earlier. You did so good. You did so good earlier. Subtle movements of your hand keep the cam from focusing. It might be. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna get this, I promise. Both hands? I could try that, but it's going to be a little bit tougher. Let's try both hands. Let's put it right in the middle of both hands. Let's also make sure we're getting plenty of light too. Might just be too close for this particular camera. Oh wait, there it goes. Oh, can't get it quite in the center. Hold on. Oh, this is so hard to do, y'all. Well, I'll be damned. There it is, guys. There's the print. Right there in the center. Pretty cool. All of that done with just baby powder and a paintbrush. Okay, this is why I was saying earlier, forensics Hobby Lobby, y'all. Let me see if my better camera will do a good job here. There's not enough light. Not enough light at all. But it did do a better job of focusing. So yeah, guys, that right there is dusting a print. And you can do this at home. You can do it with baby powder on anything that's dark. Okay, knock a lot of that powder off. So we put some extra on there. But yeah, it really doesn't take much at all. Baby powder smells good. So that's actually going to be it for that portion. Guys, I would highly recommend do this. See if you can see what you can get to develop. Now, a word of advice: when you're practicing, get oil on your hands. Rub it on your head, rub it through your hair, something, and then rub it around. But if it feels like moist, if it feels gooey, okay, wipe it on your shirt. Get a little of that excess off, because that excess will smear, and it won't come out quite as nice. Okay. And actually, what I would love to see is you guys post it in the Discord. We've got a whole section called Picturama and Vids. You guys send me pictures of what you guys have fingerprinted on, what you've been able to get fingerprints on. I think that'd be super cool. So join the Discord if I can. Oh, there it goes. It just took a minute. All right, so I'm gonna put all that away. And then what I'm gonna do to clean this up, I've got a whole bunch of these extra microfiber like towels, and I'm just gonna rub it down. You can use a paper towel, you can use whatever, but I'm just gonna wipe it so that one, the oil smears, and then the powder kind of gets cleaned away, and then it's back to just being a black piece of plastic. Okay, I'm gonna put it back on my remote before I forget to do that. All right, so there's that one. Thinking putty gives a nice print. Putty will give a nice print, but remember we talked about that being a plastic print. If you press it into putty, we're a plastic print. But I'm actually going to show you guys now how we use the concept of a patent print to actually fingerprint somebody. So remember before I showed you guys the 10 print card? Okay, let's do this thing, and I'm gonna teach y'all how to actually take someone's fingerprints. All right, and I'm gonna have to do some camera adjusting, so give me just a moment. Okay, so last name Rugger, first name Ugly, middle name Allen, aliases butt face. That's what my wife calls me sometimes, you guys. What else is a good alias? What should be my AKA, or also known as? Let's see if I can bring this closer. There we go. And I will make this a little bit better. Pyro. Even though that's your alias, not mine. What's another good fake name we can go with? Do ugly ass. Robert. Okay. Also known as Robert. All right, so we got that going for us. All right, so then the next part, signature of the person fingerprinted. Okay. Oops. I can't sign my real name. And I don't even know how to do. Yeah, I don't know cursive, you guys. So there you go. That handwriting, yeah, that's some shit. I was 2 classes away from being a doctor, y'all, or going the doctor track. So don't give me too much trouble. Let's see. Today is the 3rd of the 18th. Male, white, 5'10". Big is gonna be my weight. Yeah, I know, I did almost expose myself, and not in the bad way. Eyes are green. Hair is bald. There we go. Place of birth. I can give you guys that information. I was born in Memphis, Tennessee. Date of birth. February 19th. Residence of person fingerprinted somewhere over the rainbow. There we go. I think that'll work. Place of birth, USA. All right. Reason for being fingerprinted. Why did Ugly Rugger get fingerprinted? You guys tell me. We're gonna go with what you say. So make this good. Really? Prostate exam? I need something better than that. Reason for being fingerprinted. I'm surprised Smurf Murder hasn't come in here. He's usually good at that shit. Went to buy a bazooka. Bought a bazooka. Ooh. To use in a prostate exam. There we go. We're going to combine the two. Look at that. That's be a reason for you to be arrested and fingerprinted, right? And I am right-handed. Okay, so now we've got the whole top section filled out. That might hurt a lot, A1. That would, yeah, that would suck really bad. Okay, so we can put the pen away. Don't need that. Yeah, he clearly didn't like his doctor. Yeah. Didn't worry about the big hands, more about the big bazooka. Alright, you guys, so this is what I warned y'all about. We got to do some camera work real quick, so it's going to get a little shaky, but I got to be able to see to get this to work right. We're going to bend, and we're going to do stuff. Because what I got to do is I got to get y'all to where you can see this part right at the edge of the table. And I think we about got it right there. Alright, good. I think that'll work for now. Let's see if we can make it a little bit straighter. A little bit straighter on. Alright, that'll work. So guys, this next part is what's important. I'm going to show you how we actually take someone's prints. It is a little bit tougher than it looks. It really, really is. So, my word of advice, if you're going to do right hand first, then left, okay, is you're going to take this and put it at the end of the table that you're using, okay, and you're going to crease the paper using the edge of the table. So let me see if I can get y'all that angle. There we go. Creased it right there, so now this part of the paper is out of the way, because here's what we got to do. Okay, when you're doing fingerprints, you don't just place them down, okay? You don't just do this. You have to roll the prints. You go from what I call fingernail around to fingernail. Okay, so you start like this, and you go all the way around like that. Okay, so you're going to fill up this whole box. Now, this 10 print card is available on the Google Classroom to download and print yourself if you want to practice. I went to Office Depot today and just bought a gel stamp pad. This is all that they had. They didn't have anything else that was, I mean, this is like the cheapest thing. And this was like $7, but you can definitely find cheaper somewhere else. So, anyway, we're just going to open this up, and we're just going to use regular old black ink. Okay, so let's move this up just a hair. Alright, and so just like I showed you on how we roll it on the paper, we've got to roll it in the ink. Okay, that's a big deal. So we're going to start with the right thumb. We're going to go from left to right. Alright, and then when we get down here, we're going to do the same process on this paper, left to right. And the reason we want to do this at the edge of the table is when you have your fingers and your hand in these kind of positions, your knuckles, okay, can move freely to do your rolling. Alright? Now, let me see if I can get this a little bit higher up for you guys to see a little clearer. Okay? Unfortunately, I don't think the focus is doing a great job, but this way you can see the process a little bit clearer. So I'm going to put my ink. Now, here's the thing. Not a lot of ink, just like before. The powder, just a little bit, you guys. Just a little. Okay? You barely want to touch the ink pad. So I'm literally going to I'm just going to like be very careful and not let it touch very hard. Plus, this is a brand new ink pad. And you see, okay, I've got some ink there. Now, I didn't do a good job of getting this section, so don't do what I do until you've practiced it some. But you can kind of dab or put a little extra, but like you see how little is on there? That's plenty, because the more you put, the more you're gonna smear your print. Okay, and it's exclamation point tackles there, A1. That's the currency that you guys are earning right now in chat. So we're gonna go here to the right thumb. We're gonna start on one edge of the fingernail. We're gonna roll the print, keeping even pressure, not moving except for to roll. And boom, we now get this very nice square shaped fingerprint. Alright, so what did this come out to actually look like? Let's see if you guys can see that. Look at all that detail. Not a lot of ink, even pressure, not moving back and forth. And you can see that this is my one print that is not a loop. It's actually what we call a double whirl because there's like 2 loops together in the center. But this is a style of whirl. So pretty cool. Yes, we want the details. The devil is in the details. This is why forensics is like my thing, because I'm a very detail-oriented person when it comes to some of this. So one more time. Okay, got a lot of ink this time. So let's see what happens. Okay. We're going to go fingernail to fingernail. And look, we actually did a halfway decent job, even with a little bit more ink. Okay, not the best print, but pretty cool. Astronomy is your thing? Oh, astronomy. I love astronomy. I just wish I was better with it. Alright, now don't take this personally, everybody, in case if I accidentally flip you all off. Okay, even more ink that time. Okay, let's do the next couple. Okay, you might have to use another hand because when you get fingerprinted, you do not roll your prints. Okay, especially if you get booked into jail. Okay, somebody else does it for you, and that's actually common practice to make sure that you get a good print. So I'm gonna use my left hand as if I was another person. We're gonna press, we're gonna roll, we're gonna lift straight up. Then we're going to do all this. What's up, Elegant Chaos? What is going on, my dude? How are you? It's going well. We are demonstrating how to fingerprint somebody right now. We showed how to dust prints with, what you calls it? With baby powder, stuff you can do at home. But now I can show you, you can actually access this page, this 10-print card that's similar to what the police use on my Google Classroom. So Pyro, if you can put that up one more time, you can actually practice rolling your own prints if you have an ink pad. Okay, so there's the right hand, you guys. Look at that. Not too shabby, right? It's better to do this standing up. Right? Yeah, had a son. Even though we've never met. So that was some male Amazon bullshit right there. So there's the thumb. That one looks really good. We've got a lot of good detail there. Here's the index finger. Good detail, but didn't quite get all of the print. Now, the middle where we had the most amount of ink, see the smudging in the center and the bottom left? That's what you definitely don't want. Oops. Then we get the ring finger. And then we get the little finger. Check that out, y'all. Soulless Viking in the house. Thank you so much for that host, brother. How are you tonight? Can we also get a shout out, guys? Mods for Elegant Chaos. Let's also give a shout out to Pyro. Go ahead and give yourself a shout out because you've been doing some streaming in the past. I want people to give you a follow. But then also let's give a shout out to Elegant Chaos. Some awesome people here on Mixer, guys. I couldn't have... Oh, dude. Yeah, you couldn't have planned it any better at all. Like me or not. Hey, love you back, brother. Love you back. Thank you so much for the support you've given and just being a great friend. So now, we've got these hands. So what I'm going to use is... I've never actually used it. It's my Mixer hand sanitizer that I got from Pack South, you guys. Oh, did you really, Elegant? Oh, you're going to feel it for like, just a couple of weeks. So, a little bit of hand sanitizer. Okay, I'm putting a couple of dabs on each finger. Okay, and we're going to rub that in. Okay, this helps break down the ink a little bit because the alcohol reacts with the ink and it helps dissolve it some. I haven't played this actually, but boy, oh boy, it was a blast. Dude, I'm kind of jealous. I haven't played. My knees and my body are just too shot to do a great job with it. Okay, so we're going to rub in a decent amount now because that didn't work as well as I was hoping. And then we take a little paper towel and wipe it. So guess what? Now we have a whole lot less ink on our hands than we had before. Okay, not perfect, but you know, as you wash your hands, and hopefully you wash your hands or take showers, you know, some of y'all some nasty people, but take a shower and this stuff will come off. Just realize you're only, yes, Elegant, I am really close, 118 away from 2,000, which gets me eligible to put in for partner. It's so cool. It's so cool. Alright, and then let's go over. Now I've got to kind of move, and because left hand is a lot harder for me. I'm not left-handed. So we're going to turn the camera. This is why I bought this one. It actually has a 360-degree turning. And then we're going to go back to our gel stamp pad. I'm going to do this a lot faster. You can taste hand sanitizer? Pyro, there's something wrong with you, brother. You might want to get that looked at. Alright, and again, fingernail to fingernail. Always inside to outside. So since I'm on the left hand, I'm going to start on the right hand side of the box and work my way around. Okay, now so that you guys don't get offended, put two fingers out here because we're doing the middle one. Some people are like, oh, you fit me off. No, you big dummies. Alright. Oh my gosh, this ring finger is really tough. Come on. There we go. This is why you want somebody else to do, like, this is why in police, somebody is always designated to do this. You know what I mean? Because it's hard to do this on your own, and plus, you can't trust a criminal or somebody you've arrested to do a good job with it. Okay, so now that that's done, we get some more hand sanitizer. Oh, Elegant, I appreciate that. Yeah, guys, if y'all feel like it, yeah, hit that share button, put it on Twitter, put it on Instagram, whatever, but I'm just glad you guys are here. That's my big thing. I'm glad y'all are here, hopefully y'all having a decent time. Hopefully y'all are enjoying learning a little bit, because this is some cool stuff. You can do this at home, and it's just really, really cool. By tries to experience things that you're looking at, oh my gosh, Pyro. Dude, Elegant, thank you so much, brother. I love your face. You're awesome. But yeah, let's get dried up. And so now, let's look how we did on the left hand. There's the thumb. Focus. There's the thumb. Index. That's a pretty good one on the index. There's the middle. A little too much ink there again on the middle finger. A little too much ink on the ring finger. And then the little finger. So, if you've been paying attention tonight, I have 9 loops. So, the entire left hand and the index through little finger are all loops on my hands. Only the right thumb is a whirl. Okay? So, that would be my patterns, my general patterns. Now, there are more specifics. If you guys go watch the previous episode, episode 5 of Forensics Friday on YouTube, if you hit ! social, you will get those links to all my social media as well as the YouTube. We talk about that more in detail. If you think about salt, you'll taste it, sorta. And I guess you're right, Pyro. Oh, dude, Elegant. Much love to you, brother. Yes, I mean, any support, just you being here, hanging out, having a good time. That's all that matters to me. But if you can help me get there, hey, I'm gonna appreciate it even more, my friend. Say 9 fingers. What about 9 fingers? I got 9 fingers that have loops on them, and now I got 10 fingers with the ink on them. We got ink more on the backs than we do on the fronts. So guys, that's a 10 print card. We did our fingerprinting, or developing latent, invisible prints. Let's turn this just a hair, you guys. Okay, using baby powder and a paintbrush, a a soft bristled paintbrush. This card, which is on the Google Classroom, you can print off, or you can just use a piece of paper. And an ink pad, okay, can develop your prints. But I will show you one more thing you can do. You can take something like a highlighter or a marker, and you can actually color straight on your fingers and also get the print. So let me show you that one. We're going to try the highlighter first. I haven't tried highlighter. I've done mainly like Crayola markers. And watch, I bet this highlighter is like dry. So we're just going to color on our fingerprint. And then let's roll it. Okay, very light. Can't really see much. So make sure your marker's a good one, because that one's not good. Brought a bazooka to use in a prostate exam? Yes, that is what I put. Hey, Pyro, can we add that as a quote right there? Okay, let me get a little closer. I want you to add this as a quote. So, exclamation point, add quote, all one word. Reason for being fingerprinted, colon, bought a bazooka to use in a prostate exam. Do it. It is a little overboard. That's what makes it awesome. And then make sure you put @UglyRugger on that one, because we definitely want to know that it was my stupid butt that wrote that. Even though it was a combination of both Pyro and A1 suggestions. But I was the one putting them together. Alright, so let's try it one more time. I'm going to take this Expo marker. Oh yeah, this one's really dark. Okay, this is actually probably too much ink, you guys. You got to be real light. And we're just going to color it in. Okay, again, Crayola markers work great for this stuff. Okay, see, blue fingers. Blue fingers. Oh wow, that didn't leave anything. It dried so quick. Oh, it was Makers. I'm sorry, Maker. Yeah, it was you two guys. I'm sorry. Early in the AM? Oh my gosh, Elegant. That's a shame, because we're going to go play some PUBG here in just a minute. But regardless, hope you have a good night, dude. I'm going to clean my hands a little bit and get all this. So, but Elegant, you go have you a good night. I'll see you soon. Maybe I'll see you guys, see you this weekend. Make sure you stay tuned to Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Discord, all of that for the next stream, which I'm hoping might be tomorrow, but it may or may not. We got to build the baby's crib. The baby's crib came today. Baby Rugger's crib is in the house, literally in our house, and so I got to put that together. It's gonna be cool. Ooh, airsofting. How do y'all play? What are the rules y'all play with, Elegant? I used to play 5-shot kill with my brother's friends and me. Oh, you're taking a leak. Way to go, Pyro. I needed you. You weren't here. I'd like for you to add a quote to the bot. But before I tell you what it is, Noah Hercules, thank you for that host, my dude. So good to have you here, brother. How is your Friday treating you? So right here, Pyro, I want you to do exclamation point, add quote, all one word. And I want you to type this in. Reason for being fingerprinted, colon, bought a bazooka to use in a prostate exam, @UglyRugger. Let's add that quote to the stream. We gotta remember this day. The day where we overdid the stuff. Senior as a kid, honor system, call your hits. Predator, a G&G UMP, or UMG, 21911 times. Very cool, Elegant. Dude, Elegant, if you're in Discord, hopefully you are. Here it is. I want you to take pictures of your airsoft guns. I used to have some halfway decent ones. They weren't like very great, but I'd love to see what you're working with. And if you got any videos, show them to me. Is it pretty much gotcha? Dude, no Hercules. I am doing great. How are you tonight? We've just been demonstrating how to roll fingerprints. We also demonstrated how to dust for prints using baby powder at home. So all this is stuff you guys can do at home to make invisible prints show up, and to take a fingerprint profile of everyone in your family or anyone that you want. This form, this 10 print card, is available on my Google Classroom. If you just follow the instructions here on the exclamation point class, oops, if I can do stuff right, command, that will get you in there so you can get access to all this. It's pretty cool. All right, Elegant, you have a good night. Have fun tomorrow, okay? Don't get hurt. Wear your safety stuff. Take some pics tomorrow. Nice. That's what I want to see. Alrighty, guys. So our overhand cam, I think we can turn that off. Let's hit the button. Okay, let's also pull up our projector. There we go. And that's going to probably wrap us up for Forensics Friday tonight. 10 print cards done. We've developed some fingerprints. We've got our gloves in the glove baggie. Let me just put this in its storage facility. Okay, we've got our ink, saving it for the next time we need that. And then our baby powder and our brush can go somewhere in the meantime. And then we've got our mixer hand sanitizer from Pack South. Okay, that came in handy today for getting off ink. Oh yeah, and then the rest of our baby powder. Put that away. What I did not demonstrate today, guys, was how to lift fingerprints. But if y'all want, I can do that later, or it's pretty easy. Just lay your tape on it, nice and easy, and you can peel it up, and then you now have a fancy dancy print. Too bad. I'll link you the mask and new toy. Ooh, very nice, Elegant. I'd love to see that. Green screen needs adjusting. Oh, it does, doesn't it? It's like wherever. Nope, wherever there. Down there. Yeah, sees it. Okay, we'll get that fixed because here's what's going to happen. We are going to now go back to the main, to the front lab, the one that looks really pretty and like CSI for everyone, and then we're going to take a quick break and we're going to go play some games. So guys, let's go ahead and head up to the front of the lab real quick. Alright, so guys, this is our CSI style lab right here. Okay, dark, ominous, TV-like. Okay, it's cool. I like it. But we don't really do science in it because science doesn't happen in a lab like this. Okay, these kind of labs right here are just not good to work in. You can't see nothing because there's like not enough light. But anyway, thank y'all for being here for episode 6. Okay, part 2 of Fingerprints for Forensics Friday. I know this kind of went a little bit longer than expected. It went about an hour and a half, which isn't too bad. If any of you guys came late, please make sure you check out the VOD on mixer.com/uglyrugger. Also, this is going to be posted on our YouTube channel. If you search right now, I don't have enough followers to have a custom URL. But if you type in Ugly Rugger or Forensics Friday, you should be able to find those pretty quickly. And there's also the links right there. Pyro, thank you for putting those up. But if you are watching currently on YouTube, please make sure that you go check out. They'll be somewhere on the edges of the video, more than likely, I think this side. Go check out our previous episode as well as the playlist. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. And we will see you guys next time. So, like always,